Hello and welcome to the Dungeon Defenders Awaken Tips and Tricks video. This video will primarily be focused on giving you tips instead of flat out builds you can copy so that you can adapt or create your own builds. Now, I have to say I'm by no means being original myself. Most of the things I know is because of the Dungeon Defenders Discord group that will be in the description of this video. Hope you learned something new, and if you have further questions, leave them in the comments of the video and I'll do my best to answer them, or with the help of other defenders of Etheria. Feel free to skip around the video to find the part that interests you. Since this is my first guide, I'll do my best to cover everything, however, I may have missed something. Now, if you open your options menu, click on the gameplay, then move here to the auto loot filters. As you can see, I have pretty much selected everything I wanted auto looted. However, as you can see, I don't have all elements currently selected. As it is currently patch 1.2, I believe, the element tab is bugged for some reason. So it's best if you have it unchecked and always include fusion. I don't have the common, rare, epic, legendary, mythic, and transcendent checked because I don't need those items, right? Everything else, might as well collect them. It is also highly beneficial if you scroll a little lower from where we just did the auto loot filter to the general tab, auto reject hackers. Why? Well, the game has it set so that if you allow a cheater to join, you will be branded a cheater yourself, and you won't be able to join other public matches. Hence, yes, you do get warned first, but just in case you accidentally allow them to join, right, this will completely prevent that, so that you may play with other people. Once you actually beat the campaign mode, all the Act 1 maps, all the Act 2 maps, and all the Act 3 maps can also be done on easy. You do not need to actually beat the 3 encore maps. You can go up these stairs and say hello to whatever is inside the middle door. This actually opens up only once you beat the campaign. I will not spoil it, so you can go and discover what is behind the magic door number 2. Now, if you think I look pretty fly for a white guy, this is because we have a thing called the Transmog. Now, all the accessories that I have here do not actually represent what I look like. That's because I have a Transmog. And before you ask, no, rifted armor does not actually make you look any different. You can go back here to the blacksmith. Now you can agree to be smitten into a different new guy by creating a new loadout. This is how I actually look without a skin. If you click on the Defender Tunic, you can see that I do not have the other 4 unlocked. I'm not a Kickstarter or a funder. If you kickstarted the game or funded the game, you would have gotten these 4 skins. However, I do not have them. You can click on the skin that you wish to resemble your actual character so that you can hide all the ugly skins or ugly accessories that you do not want to be seen as. You can also change your skins to however you wish to look. If you wish to look like this. As you see, I have placed down 2 auras, my Ensnare aura and my Electric aura. You might be saying, wow, that's a pretty large area. Well, that is because of my current stats. However, that is on easy difficulty. Yes, you can change difficulties in your tavern. Up to insane mode, you will see that you can still see. Okay, I went to Nightmare. But yeah, as you can see on Nightmare, your stats get dramatically decreased. So you will need to have increased stats to even reach the same potential you did in earlier stages. And on Massacre mode, it gets slightly increased. I don't know why, but for some reason, Nightmare mode requires more stats than Massacre to be at the same range and defense rate. It is weird and cannot explain it, but it is how it is. Don't know which characters to create? Well, just go with who you want, really. When I started out, I went with the Apprentice, the Monk, the EVA, and the Huntress. That is because I'm not a big fan of the Squire, since he is not very needed before Massacre mode. He is a very good tank and can be also used in earlier stages of the game. You don't actually need multiple characters like I have. It is all because once you actually reach later in the game and start farming for fusion gear, the rifted gear, for example, this Huntress has radioactive gas or fusion gas, which means will stun everything, so I don't need the darkness trap at all. And as you can see on this one, which doesn't have a rifted, means that all poisonous enemies can still pass it, because poison immune enemies do not get stunned to the poison trap. I think that's self-explanatory. That's why having multiple characters is only beneficial once you actually start farming for the fusion gears. It is highly recommended that you do not actually care about the gold amount, because you get a lot of gold once you actually reach Massacre mode. I will currently just take one of my weapons that I have saved for reasons that I don't even know myself. Click on upgrade and then upgrade the damage of the weapon. That will greatly help you in beating the maps if you have a DPS character. Now, it depends again who you want to use as your DPS character. You can choose between the Monk, the Huntress, and the EVA. I personally went with the Monk because his F ability is a tower boost, and his C ability is a damage boost to himself and the surrounding players as well as pets. So that is what I chose. You can go with pretty much anyone, however, usually Monk or Huntress are the ones to go. When upgrading, also pay close attention. For example, as you can see, here I went fusion damage max, as well as projectile count. That is for Monk. Usually monks don't really need range damage, because that is considered physical damage and scales with the attack hero attribute. If you do fusion damage or fire damage, poison damage, light electric damage, that is considered elemental damage. Elemental damage does not scale with attack. So, for example, if you actually used a DPS Huntress, as you can see, I have it full on attack mode, or 3000 attack. I have upgraded attack in every single piece that I could. Guess I'm missing some. And it's also nice to upgrade to 25% armor resistance. However, I believe it's capped at 90%. So usually you should upgrade 25, 25 to 24 and 24% armor. Uh, okay, I went 34 on accent on this one, so I only went 14 on this one. So you can also max, and I went with vitality because attack doesn't help me. My skill and my boost are already well over what I need. When talking about the Huntress, as you can see, I have upgraded the range rate and range damage. That is because, as I said, it scales with the attack stat. Just realize this is a really low rolling attack stat. I might need to farm a new one. If I actually remove the attack stat, I would see a pretty big damage difference. Even though I have 3000, removing 1000 would still get a huge damage reduction. So paying attention to your items is quite important, especially in case of, let's say, the speedy gemstone. As you can see, Over here, I can increase the bonus defense rate and the maximum defenses that it actually boosts. My first speedy gem only had one max defense at over 100% bonus defense rate. It's because I completely neglected what it actually read and I just upgraded at random. Pay more attention. Don't be dumb like me. Do not be afraid to play alone. This game actually is easier and better if you play alone. The items are not necessarily stronger if you play with other players. You only get more drops, and more doesn't always mean better. If you do your campaign and you are stuck somewhere, you can actually ask a friend who has already beaten the map to start it, and you invite, or you join him, I should say, through Steam, and then hot join into a map you haven't beaten yet, or a survival wave you haven't beaten yet. For example, if I was Chicken Futon's friend, I could join into Insane Deeper Well Wave 4, which I haven't even attempted yet because there's no reason to do survival on Insane mode. While playing with friends is fun, it's also not fun. Because with every new player, your enemies have more health. For example, one day I was playing and my ogres were at 1 million health. When a friend joined, they were at 2 million. And then more joined, the third and fourth friend, and they were at 4 million. I suspect, so don't take my word for it, that whenever a new player joins, the enemy stat almost doubles. So it is actually more beneficial to play alone, but you may play with friends if you wish to do so. The items do not actually get a huge boost. If you play with players, you only get more items, not necessarily better. So playing with players is only for fun and for a challenge. Everyone has their own way of building, right? I try to get my overclock beam to hit as many things as possible. This is usually how I start most of my builds, with a wall, an overclock with 6 DU, and then some towers. But you need to defend other lanes as well. But how do you do it? You try to make something up yourself. This is actually a build that works from wave 23 to 25 with my current stats. However, I don't know if this exactly will work for you. So, you can click escape, click on build suggestions. That will open up a browser window. And on your web browser, you can check builds that will look like this. And then if I uploaded this, you would be like, what the hell is actually going on? Luckily, you can move away the towers in the browser. For example, hey, I don't see what's under these guys, so you basically just move them away and you can see, oh look, it's DSTs. Don't know what's next to the DSTs, you move them away from the planner. You can actually move everything, you can upload your own builds. I don't know if this specific build is on the build planner. However, from the build suggestions, I have seen a lot of different builds. I think this specific setup has been taken from the build suggestions, and I have then added these two and the auras, I think, as well. So you can customize a lot, and if you're stuck and you don't know how to continue, you can always check the build suggestions or other YouTubers like Anthem TD or Juice Bags. They do great content. I will also leave their channels in the description. However, their builds aren't always the best, right? My builds aren't the best. The professional players' builds aren't the best. Your builds aren't the best. However, you need to adapt. Not everyone is just gonna hop in and be like, boom, I have stats. Like I don't know. Okay, let's swap to a builder monk. Go like boom. I have 7,000 power. Not everyone's gonna have 7,000 power. Not everyone's gonna have 3,000 range, right? So you need to adapt. Just because it works for me doesn't mean it'll work for you. You will need to adapt your builds. I can, however, recommend you that walls with overclocks is a good combo because it gives bonus armor. Bonus armor means this guy takes less damage. Less damage means the wall can tank more. You can also slap down a strength drain aura, meaning their damage is also going to get lowered. With my 55% strength drain, with a 39% armor, well, I can wait. No, come on, get me the. Thank you. With an almost 60% armor, which is the maximum, 60% armor is the maximum, I can basically negate the damage up to 90%. I think even 99%. I haven't actually done the math to know exactly, but let's just say that these walls are currently able to tank ogres for a good minute, I would say. When two rifted ogres, however, go up to this wall, I have seen them being able to stall only for like 3 or 4 seconds, which is why an ensnare aura is also good. It will slow everyone by 85%. However, this depends on the power, I believe. Don't quote me on it. Could be also the fortify stat. So big enemies that are not weak are good for are weak against ensnare auras. Weak enemies are actually weak against us the poison trap. So you sometimes need to combine them into one setup like this, or even have an extra tower looking at them, which is usually this for my case. I would also like to show you this quick tip. The ensnare aura and the poison trap combined like this on multiple maps. This works on multiple maps. For some reason, stall the copters. You can use it on Summit, you can use it on Ancient Mines. You do not need to have fused auras or fused traps for this. It just works and it stalls them, allows you to kill everything else before your DSTs kill the copters. And I do believe that is that. I hope you have actually taken something from this video and actually learned that you can apply to your everyday gameplay of Dungeon Defenders Awakened.